30-second board time. Hot topics in the sport. We are halfway through the first pro motocross season ever to have the metal grates behind the start. And the riders have opinions on it, so halfway through, we decided to ask a few what they think of that change.
The start gates, I actually like them. Last week I pulled my first hole shot of the year, and it was nice. Especially at Southwick, I haven't had the best starts there as far as history goes. So it was nice to get a hole shot there, and I feel like it's just very similar to Supercross.
You know, I don't like them. That's just me. I didn't like them in Supercross either. That's personal opinion. That's personal opinion. You know, that's just me being me.
I definitely love them. I like them a lot more than dirt, especially for me. This is the first time I've ever had good starts, so it's nice to be able to practice great starts all year long from Supercross to outdoors, so I definitely like them.
My starts have been terrible, so I'm going to say that they're no-go as of now, but if we get a couple hole shots this weekend, that'll change my mind.
Yeah, definitely. The metal grates is, I enjoy it. I mean, you can, it evens it out a little more. It evens the start out a little more, especially if you get pushed out wide on the gate. The grates help you a lot.
Grates are kind of dumbed down for us, and I think it doesn't give us a whole lot of wiggle room. So we all kind of go into the first corners a lot closer than what we should be. I would like to go back to the OG dirt starts.
Okay, there you go, JT. I feel like the overwhelming majority of the riders and teams, the teams ask for this, and the riders seem to like it because they always want consistency. I always say any athlete, better is always better. Personally, I'm not sure if better is better. Sometimes having variance is better. What they have done is less track maintenance now in front of the gates, try to make the ruts gnarlier to lead to some separation and maybe reduce the chance of crashes. You did both. You've done metal and dirt in your career. What do you think of this change so far?
I do think the adjustment that they made a couple weeks ago of not maintaining the ruts outside has helped. That's given some separation, and that's really all that the riders are looking for. And if you I've talked to people like Nick Way and others that are concerned about everybody arriving at the first turn together because the starts are so consistent. So that rut does matter. It is causing people issues when they leave the gate, which is what we're looking for. The best riders are going to qualify fastest, get the best gate picks. That's how this all works. So I don't necessarily have a strong opinion of whether the grates are better or worse. I do think it does help those that are more have more technology because they can really pinpoint what RPM you want to be at and how you want to disengage the clutch and all those things. But I do think this was a nice change, and we have already seen, I think, the fruits of that come out. Just less first turn crashes.
Yeah, definitely compared to the first two rounds for sure. When they started doing that, I think at High Point, not maintaining in front of those metal grates to kind of get the old feel back and away. 250 class shuffle. Yeah, it's been wild in this division. As I said at the top of the show, Hayden Deegan as the points leader wasn't the only story. It was also that Hampshire, Shimoda, and Justin Cooper got back in it. But this was a tough one on Hayden. And I honestly feel like it's going to be unfair criticism. I think people are going to say he choked or the weight of the points lead weighed him down. I feel like, hey, he's a rookie. We just can't expect him to be on the podium in every single moto all year. That's my thought on it.
Yeah, all of this was unexpected. For him to be the points leader, for him to be this consistent where he was just on the podium week in and week out without really us thinking too hard about it, that's asking a lot to maintain that. And we also have to realize the grind that a rider is going through for the first time. And you just hear about this week after week and moto after moto, and his body's never been put through a test like this. So they're figuring things out as we go. He's trying to learn new racetracks and also be at the very best form of anybody that shows up on a 250 that weekend. So it's a big ask. I think he's been phenomenal all season long, regardless of where we go from here. He should be very proud of the effort he's put in.
Yeah, and as for the other three, look, Shimoda, Hampshire, and Justin Cooper, all those guys, they were in front of Hunter in the first moto when he got them. RJ told you on the podium that crushed him. I talked to Cooper after the race. He said he was still a little flat physically after Southwick because he put out a big effort there. They've got to hit the reset button yet again going into Washougal because that class has changed back to the good for Hunter. On the comeback, this is really good stuff to always get these guys back into racing. Austin Forkner back after a devastating injury off the start in Anaheim 1, and Pierce Brown back from a broken hand, and they were hovering around top 10. To me, especially with how serious Forkner's injury was, I think this is a win.
Yeah, I'd love to get these guys back, right? And for Forkner, what a long road to get back. I mean, we saw him race, 6 minutes in January, and then he was gone until now. So we'll see what that progress timetable looks like from him, but it seemed like he was happy with his day. He was hovering around the top 10, and I think this gives him a launch pad to jump off of. and you're really just trying to build momentum and see incremental improvements. So getting any of these guys back is going to add to the series.
Yeah, and it's going to help. We'll see. It's going to take a rally for Forkner to get even in the top 30 and even have a shot at the LCQ for the SMX playoffs. But if he does get in and he's healthy, that's a real wild card there. Hunter Lawrence did win the 250 class. He didn't go 1-1 because he had a late crash. And this is just, to me, the way it always goes for Hunter. Everything rolls so easy for Jet Lawrence. Hunter, even when he's at his peak, something always seems to happen, and it did happen there late in the race.
Yeah, I always had this theory, and I don't know where I developed this, but if things are going too easy and everything seems to be going your way, you should probably be very wary of things tipping the other way, because it's just how life goes, right? The pendulum swings one way, and then at some point you're going to run into some sort of adversity. And I think we've seen that for Hunter over the last 3 rounds, even with the crash with a couple laps to go. But to Hunter's credit, he's fought through that. He's fought through mechanical issues. He's fought through nagging injuries. And yet here he is still holding the red plate. And deep down, I believe that everybody would be looking at each other going, yeah, he's the best guy. Doesn't mean he's going to win the championship, because that's why they dropped the gate. But he's been the best guy through 7 rounds.
It's not quite a return for Jason Anderson, because we've seen him back since Redbud, but this is much more like the Jason Anderson we're used to. That was a really strong ride for a podium, Moto 1.
Yeah, and he's just been looking for progress. He knows that his best chance for success has been in the first moto. So I think he went all out, and he had to pass all of his rivals other than the top 2, of course, Jet and Chase, to get that podium in the first moto. And I think when things went sideways in the second moto, of course he wasn't happy about it, but I think the first moto was enough. He showed himself, he showed his team what he's capable of when he gets back to full strength. I think we'll see more of that, assuming that his wrist isn't bothering him too badly going into Washougal. But what I'm really looking for is when we go to Unadilla, I think you're going to see a full strength Jason Anderson, because of the 2 full weekends we will have. If he's not at full strength by Unadilla, I don't know when that will show up, maybe September in the playoffs, but you can see real progress happening in real time here.
Yeah, that's awesome, because he had to ride through a couple of really good riders, Ferrandis and Plessinger, to get that third. And that's kind of the position he would normally be in if he weren't recovering. So definitely getting closer to the Anderson we expect to see. Hey, we want to send a shout out to Grant Harlan. I feel he was the most improved rider of anyone in Monster Energy Supercross this year, and he's been great in motocross. Top 10 guy again. He is 13th in the combined standings, SMX, motocross, and supercross together. 13th of any rider in the sport. This is Grant Harlan, everyone.
Yeah, and my favorite thing about this is I watch him really closely in these battles. He was moving forward this weekend, and the fitness is apparent. Late in these motos, you can't fake it. Everyone can see if you're tired, because your body language changes. You can't charge. And every time I've seen Grant Harlan in these positions, he is working to pass people, move forward. There's no quit in him, and he doesn't look tired. So for me, that goes a long way for me. I really appreciate it, because I know the work that's got to be put in to get into that position and to feel that way late in the motos. And yeah, so kudos to him. What a great year he's had.
So let's preview Washougal here a little bit. Chase Sexton obviously making strides, was much better at Millville than he was the previous rounds. He says Washougal is one of his favorite tracks, and Jet says Washougal is not one of his. So the Honda teammates is going to be on this weekend.
Yeah, for Sexton, he has to like the way this sets up. You know, he left Spring Creek frustrated. I think he knows he left some on the table there. But if you're looking at the data, and I can guarantee you that the Lawrence brothers do this, because they throw stats at me sometimes that I didn't know. So they're students of the sport. They understand this, and Jet will know he's never won a moto at this particular racetrack, and Sexton has been phenomenal here. So it sets up nicely. It's a great storyline. Can Jet continue the winning streak, or does Chase finally get it done? I don't have a hard opinion on it. I just want to see a battle, and I think that's exactly what we're going to get.
Yeah, and Jet said he knows how bad the roost hurts at Washougal on a 250. He said, I can't imagine what it's going to be like on a 450 if he's behind somebody. Remember, last year, Eli Tomac had a massive moto win streak going, and it ended at the hands of Chase Sexton straight up at Washougal. That's how good Sexton is on this racetrack. We're going to wrap this show up, but also tell you how to watch us, along with James Stewart. We'll be back in the booth at Washougal. All times are Eastern, you see here. We'll have 1 o'clock qualifying coverage. That's Race Day Live, presented by Motorsport.com. And the motos will start at 4 o'clock. You're watching on Peacock or the SuperMotocross video pass outside of the U.S. But we'll have an encore presentation of racing on USA on Sunday at noon.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.